Hello everyone! Today we will make this chess set from epoxy resin with poplar wood legs. It will be interesting, so stay with us. Let's go! Today we are using a new method to make the chessboard. We will not cast the squares separately and glue them later. Instead, we will mill the square areas into the board and then fill these recesses with epoxy resin. To mill the squares accurately, we made a template in Fusion. First, we made a layout showing how the squares should look. We chose a distance of 25 mm from the edge of the board to the square. We decided to make each square 44 mm with a corner radius of 2.5 mm. Why do we need this radius? So the resin from one square does not flow into the next one and there is some distance between them. First we drew this template to see how everything should look, and then we made a second template for the router. Our router has a 10 mm guide bushing and a 5 mm router bit, which gives us a corner radius of 2.5 mm. Because of this, the router cuts 2.5 mm farther than the edge of the square template. So on the router template, the distance from the edge of the board to the square became 22.5 mm, and the cutout size became 49 mm. After routing, the final square will be 44 mm. On this template, we made half of the squares, 16 pieces. After routing them, we will turn the template around and cut the second group, another 16 squares. In total, we get 32 squares. The corners on this second template do not need to be rounded because the router bit will already move with a radius thanks to the guide bushing. The total size of our chessboard will be 402 mm. We drew everything, made the template, and as usual gave it to the guys with the laser cutter to cut it from 3 mm steel. We do not need the first lower template, we only need the second one. We prepared our mold boxes from laminated flooring boards. You can see how we make them in our previous videos. These are our standard molds, which we use for almost all our products. We cover a sheet of plywood with tape so the epoxy resin can separate from it easily. The side walls are made from leftover laminate. Everything is fixed with screws and sealed with sealant. From leftover pieces of poplar slab, we cut these interesting pieces where the wood has the most natural and uneven shape. We test how they fit inside the mold and then sand them very well. When our wooden pieces are ready, cut and sanded, we mix some epoxy resin, any type is fine, and carefully apply a thin layer to the wood with a brush. Why do we do this? To stop air bubbles coming actively from the wood into the epoxy when we make the main pour, If we put untreated wood into the mold and pour resin over it, bubbles will start coming out of the wood. This process is not controlled, and some bubbles will stay inside the piece. They do not all come out during the first hour, for example. They continue coming out slowly while the resin is curing. Because of this, some bubbles can remain inside the board. By coating the wood with resin before the main pour, preferably twice, we seal the wood and stop the air from coming into the body of the board. We prepared all the pieces this way and left them to dry. After that, we prepare the mold. We clean all dust from it carefully. We check if there are any places where the resin can leak out. And then, as usual, we start mixing the resin. We need about 3.5 kilograms. We use a liquid resin that cures quite slowly. Depending on the room temperature and the thickness of the pour, you can use either a medium curing resin or one that cures very slowly. For example, if the room temperature is around 18 degrees and the pour is not thicker than 2 centimeters, we use a medium resin that cures in a little more than 1 day. But if we work at a temperature close to 30 degrees, like now, we are in Antalya, and our pour is around 3 centimeters thick, we use the slowest curing resin we have. Full curing time for this resin is 4 to 6 days. We mix the resin, add color, and pour it into the mold. The top side of our board is now facing down. So we are casting the board upside down. Friends, if you like what we do, please leave a like. If you have something to tell us or something to share, write a comment. And subscribe so you do not lose us. We have many interesting projects ahead. To stop the legs from floating up, moving inward or changing position, we put some weight on top of them. For weight we use jars filled with stones that we also use in some of our resin projects. These stones cost about the same as the resin, around $10 per kilogram, but in some products they look excellent. After a few days we can see that the resin has cured. We remove the weights and now we can take the mold apart. The top layer of resin, which will be the bottom of the board, is clean and without dust. This is important because we do not plan to sand or polish this side. Because of the legs, it would be impossible to do later. This type of mold is quite convenient. The resin separates quite well from the laminate boards, and the side pieces can be used several times if they do not break during disassembly. Sometimes the resin sticks a little to the walls, but this is not a serious problem. We separate the lower part, which will later become the top side of the chessboard, from the plywood base using chisels. The plywood is of course covered with tape, but the casting still sticks to it a little. Now we go outside to check the transparency and the color, and to see if it is transparent enough. We need it to be transparent, but at the same time not too transparent. After placing the board on its legs, we realize that we used the wrong piece for one leg. It is not the height we planned, so this leg is shorter. Our first idea is to add another piece of wood on top. We want to somehow match the surfaces and glue them together. So we take another wooden block, level the joining surfaces of the two pieces and check if we can glue them. Then we understand that two different pieces of wood will most probably look very bad, so we decide to fill the missing height with the same resin in the same color. This means the leg will have several sections. At the top we have the wooden leg cast into the resin. Below that there is only the wooden leg, and at the bottom there is resin again. Next, we place our template on the board. The template is 402 millimeters. We cast the board a little larger than this. We mark around the template and cut the edges with a circular saw. Why not cast it directly to the exact size? Because the edge of the casting is naturally a little uneven. Also, the wooden pieces for the legs may not sit perfectly straight. So making the board slightly larger and then cutting it to final size is a good solution. On a small piece of plywood, we first test how our squares will be cut. The guide bushing comes out about 10 millimeters below the base of the router, while our template is only 3 millimeters thick. So we need to lift the router base a little. For this we used felt pads, the same kind that people stick under furniture legs. We tested everything separately on plywood first. In my opinion, the result is excellent. The router cut passes 2.5 millimeters from the edge of the template, the corner radiuses are clean and everything looks straight and nice. We fixed our template to the board with double-sided tape and started cutting the first 16 squares. If you use, for example, 15mm plywood as a template, you will not have this problem with spacers under the router. You can simply take the router and start working. But because our template is made from 3mm metal, we need these spacers so the guide bushing comes less than 3mm below the router base. So we routed the first 16 squares and removed the metal plate. Now we need to turn the template around so the new squares line up perfectly with the squares we already cut, without any shift. This is the most difficult operation in this project, placing the template for the second time exactly where it has to be, with accuracy to tenths of a millimeter. By the way, in the end we removed the felt pads from the router because we found that they could come off, and we simply glued on a thick piece of leather. This works better. We are quite nervous because if the template is not positioned perfectly the second time, the whole piece will be ruined. The distance between the squares is very small, so even a shift of only 1/10 of a millimeter will be visible. But we worried for nothing. Everything turned out excellent. We mix dark green resin and carefully fill the squares a little above the surface. Because of surface tension, the resin forms a small dome on each square. First, the resin shrinks a little while curing, and second, we will level the surface with the router anyway. First, we route the back side and bring all the legs to the same level, both the leg that we extended with epoxy resin and all the other wooden legs. Then we turn the board over and route the front side, removing small surface irregularities left from the casting. The plywood base was covered with tape, and where the tape layers overlapped, there were small uneven areas. So we leveled the whole surface with the router and then moved to sanding. After sanding, we start polishing. We sand step by step with 60, 120, 180, 240, 320, 400 and 600 grit. After that, we start polishing with the polishing compounds you can see on the table. We begin with number 45 after the 600 grit sanding, then use number 10, and finally number 5. After polishing, we wash and clean the piece. For the chess pieces, we added a milky metallic powder to the resin and used green color in different intensities. The pieces came out elegant with a slightly smoky look. I think we made an excellent piece with only about 10 man-hours of work and a minimum amount of tools. Make things with your hands and protect your fingers. All the best. See you in 1 week.